Yeah, quick one here. We have a Tog as president, and there is no gainsaying it. I mean, um, it's sad that people would call someone who is a Tog His Excellency. That is not legitimate resistance. I have talked about legitimate resistance. I've been talking about it. If you haven't heard of it, you're hearing it now. Legitimate resistance is resistance by every right within your power against injustice and against evil, against corruption. Someone came out himself and told you to snatch it and grab it and run with it, and did exactly that. Even preceding that, all elections in Lagos State, that's what he has done. That's what he's doing presently. He has two strategies to win elections: buy votes and use thuggery. That's what he does. Go and look at it. That's how he was able to dominate the Southwest, dominate everywhere until he got into Abuja. And for you to deal with him as a gentleman, watch this, is stupidity. He will never change. The Bible says the people that are accustomed to doing evil don't change. Someone who is used to stealing money, you put him before money, he's going to steal everything with nothing left. Before he came into power, I said the debt will exceed, both local and foreign debts, will exceed $100 billion. Hasn't it happened now? There are prophecies that are predictable. It's not because I need to hear from God about it. I just need to look in the scriptures to be able to define a human character. And I can predict where it will end. If you give Tinubu 2 lifetimes, Nigeria will never change, because when the head is rotting, the pattern will follow everything else. The body will follow suit. He's a thug. And how can you call somebody His Excellency? This is the problem. You say you don't want evil in the society. You want to stop corruption. You want to stop stealing of elections. Just like they did in the FCT recently. You see them using TPEX, and the INEC that is supposed to reject it is uploading it to IREV. And you are saying 2027 is going to be different. I think there must be a special brand of weed some of you are smoking in Nigeria. Some in a system where it's acceptable to alter result sheets, voting papers, ballot papers, and then take it as evidence for courts, and it's accepted by the court, is a society you think you're going to change by gentleman attitudes. It's not going to work. You have a thug. You got to develop strategies of dealing with a thug. If you need to play his game better than him, you better start doing it now. And then after you have won the elections, you can revamp the system. We are dealing with a thug. A thug has no qualms killing people. The end justifies the means. That's what thuggery simply means. Taking something that doesn't belong to you by violence, by corrupt means. This man has been buying votes in Lagos State. How do you think he sustained Lagos State? Controlling Lagos State all these years. He sustained it by buying votes and by thuggery and violence. Just go to any polling booth in Lagos, you see them chasing people away. Have you ever thought about it about what it does on the psyche of the average man in society? Have you ever thought about what perception it creates abroad? Even for me, living in Western society, do you know why I see what has become of this evolution called Nigeria? What I see is madness. What I see is an animal kingdom. What I see is less than human beings. And I say it again, ants are better off. We read in the scriptures that the ants can conduct elections. The Bible didn't use explicitly that terminology, but the Bible makes us understand that they have a leader. So meaning they were able to choose a leader so they can conduct elections. I'm using allegorical interpretations here, but that's a fact. And in the jungle, you have the king. So there is law and order. There is no law and order in Nigeria. There is a semblance of it. What does it mean? They make the law, break the law in the name of the law to justify themselves in power. There is no law. There is no rule of law in Nigeria. Is there any? Do you know I'm safer in Western country than in Nigeria? Do you know I'm safer? What did Nigeria do for you? Nothing. What did Nigeria do for you? Except for those stealing money, there is nothing Nigeria has to offer anybody. And Nigeria will not be able to offer anything in the next 100 years if you don't change the status quo now. And you can only do it by legitimate resistance. There are so many idioms I invented. For example, when I used the word local champions to describe Nigerian politicians, that came from me. When I used the word Buharis, that came from me originally. Regrettably, the worst thing that has happened to Nigeria is this evil lot called APC. But the worst of them all is that man sitting in Aso Rock right now. Tog. You have a Tog as president and you're calling him His Excellency. And you're dealing with him jejely with gentleman's attitude. A Tog will change. Didn't you see it in the FCT elections what the Tog did? A country where you use TPEX to write results, to alter results, ballot papers, and is accepted by their courts. 2027 is a foregone conclusion, except you resist now, and you have every right to do so. The citizens have more power than the state. The citizens make the state, not the one sitting there and claiming to be something that he illegitimately got. Ill-gotten gains. And to think that there's someone called the pastor around him beats me. And by the way, what is the church preaching? There is something fundamentally wrong with the gospel. If morality cannot be found in society, everyone is given to greed in Nigeria. Basically, I remember when I ordered some transports in Nigeria, and they prayed when the transports came, only to discover that they lied to me. What is happening with the gospel in Nigeria? I'm becoming so agitated. What are the imams teaching in their mosque? Did you forget that God is a moral God? At this rate, the churches should start having the message of salvation along with justice. The book of Micah makes us understand that. What does the Lord expect of us? To do justice. To do justice. And that is what the church should be preaching in an environment like Nigeria, because there's so much evil. There's so much evil. You cannot be a pastor where your member is still in elections. You cannot just be that person's pastor without open rebuke. Didn't the Bible talk about open rebuke? Everybody just plays along and keeps quiet. I know it's comfortable to just focus on policy rather than the politics. But the politics is how you gain power and bring righteousness. Yeah. The mosques, what are you teaching? When I was coming up, it used to be that Muslims were the people respected as being pious and righteous and holy. And holy is something we use in the Christendom, but being pious. Today, everybody just has given themselves to greed. Because you imagine that these people go to church and to the mosques, and they still use TPEX to write results. And by the way, if you're a preacher, as one who has received mercy from the Lord, I will tell you right straight away. Do you know the opprobrium? Do you know how it feels to watch on TV someone we know stole elections like a wiki come to your church and be giving testimony? I don't care whether it's giving you $1 billion. That money is at cost. Because it came on the back of the blood. It's just like slavery. What is happening in Nigeria is modern day slavery. Under a Tog president. I want you people to really get angry and begin to say no to injustice. No one can steal my vote anymore. That's what you should be saying. They have no right to steal your vote. It's a crime stealing your vote. Did you know that they are committing crimes and they're the ones sitting in power? Oh my God, this is an aberration. Military rule is even better then. Because the military comes with a gun. They didn't hide it. We're coming with a gun. We're taking something that don't belong to us by force. What is the difference between it and someone who is wearing agbada and compromise the system? It's the same thing. Do you know why there are all these military coups now in Africa? Because Nigeria failed to get it right. Because someone stole elections in Abuja in 2023. Stole power. That's when all these coups escalated. Niger basically spat in Nigeria's face. Niger of all countries, Niger Republic. My God, how low can you fall? Do you know it was a violation of your sovereign territory for America? Even though I'm a Trump man. Yeah, I'm a Trump man. But I'm going to tell you, he got to do what he had to do. But if you are the legitimate leader, nobody would have violated your airspace with a Tomahawk missile. It's a violation of sovereignty. He dared do it because he knows your country. I will tell you, he knows that those people sitting in Aso Rock are giving them the information they want to have. What does it tell you? You have spies there. In Aso Rock, right there. There is no territorial integrity. It's not the place where bandits are making live videos. Which DSS? DSS that cannot protect you. They only get muzzles when they turn to street enforcers for the APC. Everything in Nigeria has become an embarrassment, a disgrace. And until you stand up and say, I'm not going to have a talk for a president, that day your life begins to change. In fact, there are things you pray now you wouldn't need to pray anymore, because they are basic responsibilities of good governance. They are outcomes of good governance. Well, I'll continue to provoke your thoughts about this. You will not have a talk as president. And the mantra going forward is that all you need is a new president, in a person and a gentleman, a moral man like Peter Obi, against the talk president.